I'm not your toy. I'm not your Весняночка, весняночка, де ти зимувала? Я садочко на клиночку, сорочечку пряла. Там у лісі, на юзлісі, сова воду дує, заспіває.
Hi everyone, hope you liked my introduction to the video, my TikTok video. If you'd like to follow me on TikTok, I'll put the link in the description. There we go, that's a good introduction, I think. And that TikTok video does actually relate to what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I hope you're ready for a long video because I think it could be quite a long video, so be prepared. I'm going to be talking about Eurovision 2022 and what I would like it to be like in terms of types of music, who I'd like to see represent certain countries, not every country, but just some that I have in mind. Interval acts as well, the actual show itself in Italy, wherever it will be in Italy. I'm filming this and we still don't know the host city. Wow, it's nearly the end of September and I could be wrong, but I don't think it's ever been left this late before to hear the host city, because it's nearly going into October now. Can they really leave it that long? Are they allowed to leave it until November, December? I don't know, but I don't think it's usually left this late. So yeah, that's interesting because it's nearly a month until we actually thought that it would be announced soon, and that was nearly a month ago. So that's quite funny actually. And we know the artist representing Belgium, which is very early. I know that Belgium usually do announce it fairly early, as in one of the first of all the countries, but September I think is very early. But yeah, we know one of the artists before the host city, but I'm sure we will know the host city maybe any day now, but then we've been saying that for the past 3 weeks or so who knows. So when we talk about Eurovision 2022, I think we have to talk about this year, 2021, which is kind of what that TikTok video at the start is all about. Because I'm sure lots of people would definitely agree with this. The final of this year was just so good. The quality of music, the standard was so high. One of the best we've ever had, I think. And I know we do say that every year. And yeah, it was just one of the best years I can remember, one of my favourites. And one of my favourites because my favourite won, Måneskin. You know how much I wanted them to win, how happy I was when they won. My favourite winner ever. Look how successful Måneskin are. We don't usually see that much success and popularity in the mainstream from a Eurovision winner or artist before, so that in itself is amazing. And I'm a Måneskin fan, as you know, and I still love Zitia Błągi. It's one of my favourite winners ever. In fact, I think it actually is my favourite winner now. And whenever I listen to that song, I think, well, how can we improve? How can we get even better than that? You know, how can you beat Måneskin? And not just Måneskin, but we also had Go A from Ukraine. You know, I think that is one of Ukraine's best entries. We had the 2 French ballads, Lithuania doing really well, Russia. Obviously, San Marino didn't actually do that well, but it is known as the best entry. And when you think of all the songs from this year, you think, wow, how can we have even better than that? How can you beat that? I still can't help but think, I don't see how I can enjoy the winner of next year even more than this year. I'm looking forward, you know, to having brand new artists, brand new songs, of course, but yeah, I just can't help but think it's going to take a lot to beat 2021. So yeah, it's a variety of music that we had this year that just made it really good, and the televoters that's what they voted for. I like the fact that, well, I don't want to say that I'm really happy about the fact that the pop songs like El Diablo, Adrenalina, Matahari, I don't want to say that I'm really happy about the fact that they didn't do so well, but I am kind of happy that it was the other types of music, like the Italian rock, Go A from Ukraine, yeah, because everything that the public voted for was kind of, alternative. And I like that that happened because it's not the Eurovision pop contest, it's about all different types of music. And I basically hope that we continue like that. I hope that people will be really inspired by Maneskin and how big they are and how well they've done. I'm not saying every country should sing rock because I know that's not allowed, although I'm always really happy to hear rock in Eurovision. I hope that continues. I'm not saying that every country should sing rock, but I do hope that artists from countries will be inspired to be authentic. Most of the top 5 this year was in a different language, so that's great as well. So let's hope that that continues as well, just all different types of music, lots of different languages. So yeah, I hope that continues into next year as well. I also hope that we keep the televote system, the way that the televotes are read out from the bottom to the top. I know it's really harsh, especially when, the 4 countries this year got 0 points. And yeah, it is harsh, but you can't deny that it's really entertaining to watch. It's really interesting to watch. So I do hope that we carry on with this televoting system of reading out the points because, yeah, I just think it's entertaining. Before I go into individual countries, I would like to mention the Interval Act in Italy next year. Well, first of all, I can't wait to see Maneskin. Obviously, they are going to be performing, and that's going to be a huge performance. You just know that that's going to be amazing. It would be nice if they perform maybe other songs as well, almost like a little mini concert for the Interval Act, and other Italian artists, because Italy have done so well in Eurovision over the years. They're one of the best countries in the contest, and they've been very close to winning quite a few times as well. So it will be great to have like a medley, like a group performance of Eurovision artists from Italy over the years, like Mahmood, Il Volo, maybe even Diodato. Yeah, I can imagine some kind of medley of a performance. And also, I think other people have said this before, but I agree. I would really like to see a performance of the winner of 1990 Insieme. Unite Europe. I just think, imagine having that being performed in the arena and having everybody singing along, everybody watching, outside the arena in the Eurovision Village, which is hopefully where I'll be, singing along to that. I think that would be that would be amazing. I think I can really picture some kind of performance to Insieme, definitely. There has been talk of Abba, the comeback of Abba, and Abba making an appearance of some kind next year. Well, I think, I'm not saying that I don't like ABBA, I do, and it's great that they're making a comeback, and I know that they are a huge part of Eurovision history. But to be honest, I don't really want them as the Interval Act in Italy. I just think it should be all about Maneskin and other Italian music, and I just don't want ABBA taking away from that. I don't want an Interval Act in Italy to be dominated by ABBA when there could be so much more that they could do. especially with, Måneskin, other Italian music. Yeah, I don't even know if that's much of an unpopular opinion, really. I don't think that's that controversial. I think people could agree with me on that. I just think, yeah, I don't think it should be all about ABBA. It's all about Måneskin, and yeah, I just hope that ABBA don't take the spotlight. Or if they are going to be there in some way, then they're going to have a very long interval act, like 2019 with Madonna. They're just going to have to make it even longer to fit everyone in if they are going to include ABBA. But yeah, so that's my opinion on that. Not really a huge fan of the idea of ABBA being a huge part of the interval act next year. But there we go. I will talk about a few countries, not every country, but I have picked out a few. I won't mention the UK. I've done a whole video about the UK, and yeah, don't really know what to expect from us next year. Should be interesting. But yeah, that's a whole other separate issue. I will mention Ireland. I know it was announced recently that Ireland are having a national final. I can't even remember the last time they had a national final. I think it was probably before I even started watching national finals, so about 10 years ago probably. So the fact that we know that they are having a national final might kind of contradict what I'm about to say. But with Ireland, I always think that I'd like them to send a rock band. There's a band I really like from Ireland called Walking on Cars, and I think they would be brilliant for Eurovision. I just think it should be something that sounds Irish but also modern and current. I think they were actually kind of heading in the right direction this year with Maps, Leslie Roy. But then we all know what happened. The performance, the staging, absolutely awful. It just completely fell apart. I still think it's such a huge shame because that song is actually really good. I like that song. And that is the kind of thing that I would like from Ireland. But the staging just completely ruined it. So, yeah, now that we know there's a national final, I'm not expecting a band like Walking on Cars that are quite well known. But maybe that kind of style, Celtic, Irish kind of sound, but also quite up to date. But yeah, we'll see. I will mention Greece, and again, we do know some information about Greece this year. We have about 4 or 5 names of people who might potentially represent Greece or who are putting a song forward to try and represent Greece. One of them is Kalamira. I'm not sure that's how you pronounce it, but yeah, Kalamira, who represented Greece in 2008. And there's a few other people as well. I always think with Greece that they have kind of lost their way over the past few years. If you think about the early 2000s or even the mid 2000s, Greece were one of the best countries in Eurovision. They were doing so well. And then if you look at their entries over the past few years, I think they've gone downhill. So I'm hoping they pick it back up. Don't be afraid to sing something in Greek, I think. I know it didn't work in 2018. I think they were just a bit unlucky there. But I think they should send a Greek bop, like one of Eleni Fouera's songs in Greek. I just think, why not? People would love that. But yeah, we shall see. I do think they need to improve a bit. Spain, another country having a national final this year. I hope it's a good one. And I would really like to see Spain improve overall because they usually are in the bottom 5, along with the UK and sometimes Germany. But sometimes I think they deserve more than what they get. I do feel quite bad for Spain in Eurovision, so I just really want them to do well. And it would be nice to see Spain, in the top 10, maybe. It'll just be a nice change. So I hope they do well this year. Yeah. And Italy, well, I mean, where do you start? I mean, we've had Måneskin. Surely they can't do better than that. I think they probably peaked with Måneskin. San Remo this year. How can you beat that? It'll be interesting. The only name I can think of that I would be interested in seeing is a band called the Colors, who took part in San Remo in 2018, I think it was. Yeah, and I think they are quite well known as well in Italy, the Colors. So if Italy do go down a similar road with a band, go for the Colors. I do want to mention Iceland briefly. So we've had Daddy Freyr. Not quite sure where you can go from there. Probably downhill. Again, I think Iceland probably have peaked with Daddy Freyr. But you never know, they could come out with something else amazing. I've mentioned in a video before, not too long ago, about a singer called Iva, or Ivor, who is from the Faroe Islands, but I think she is based in Iceland as well, and the language is quite similar as well to Icelandic. But I would love something like that, something like her style of music. It's very kind of ethereal, mystical. You could call it alternative folk, like Nordic folk pop. Very sort of like proper Viking, Scandinavian. I love that kind of thing. And if you listen to her music, it is very much like that. So just typing Eivor, Ivor, listen to her music, and imagine that representing something like Iceland. That would be amazing. That's the kind of thing I would like to see. Obviously, we've got Of Monsters and Men, are the most famous, well-known artists to come out of Iceland. I don't think they would do Eurovision, but something like that in that style. I love that. Ukraine, again, going back to the national final next year, although it's a slightly different national final, I think, a different name, maybe a different format. I'm not sure, but I will definitely watch it. I can't wait for that. Ukraine is another one of my favourite countries in Eurovision, and Ukraine, I think, should just do what you always do what you do best, and that is be yourself. Not gonna lie, it's going to feel strange not having Go A represent Ukraine, because I thought they were just so brilliant, and I would happily have them represent Ukraine all the time. I think they were just perfect. And this is the thing with this year. You had Måneskin, Go A, The Roop, Blind Channel from Finland, Darcy Freyr from Iceland, all these artists that you think, oh, it's going to be really strange not having them in Eurovision next year. Completely different artists. So yeah, I do hope Ukraine come up with something equally as interesting and authentic, different as Go A. I could mention loads of singers that I like, that I listen to from other countries that I'd like to see at Eurovision. I could mention Aurora from Norway, Sigrid from Norway, Lucas Graham from Denmark, but they're not really realistic in taking part in Eurovision. I could mention Kim Petras from Germany, but she won't do it because she says that she won't do it. Or actually, speaking of Germany, somebody who I can think of that could definitely represent Germany is Alice Merton. That would be a good name. Yeah, that just made me think. I forgot to mention Germany. But yeah, there's so many singers from different countries that we all listen to, but they wouldn't do Eurovision. So, there's not much point in sort of thinking that they would when they wouldn't take part in the national final. So yeah, I always have a wish list of artists that I'd like to do Eurovision, but some of them are probably not that realistic. I could say Christine and the Queens representing France. Imagine that, that would be amazing, but it wouldn't happen. So yeah, we all have ideas that we would love to see, and maybe one day some of them will actually happen. But yeah, for now, I think that is all that I wanted to mention in terms of certain countries. I mentioned the interval act, the comparison between 2021 and kind of clinging on to the songs from this year, not wanting to move away from that because of how good it was. So yeah, looking forward to starting the season all over again, brand new national finals, brand new artists. Yeah, going to be really exciting as always. And I apologise for the long video, but I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching till the end. If you did watch to the end, thank you. And let me know if you agree with everything that I said. What I said about Abba being the interval act, anything about any of the countries that I mentioned, any of the singers that I mentioned, anyone that you could think of who I didn't mention, who you think could represent their country. Let me know, and I shall see you for the next video, which could be about the host city if we get that. Who knows? I mean, we could be waiting for another month and I wouldn't be surprised at this point. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye.